जगदम्बे कृपा करी साई माँ, करुणामयी जननी साई माँ, त्रिभुवन पालिनी साई नमोस्तुते साई माँ, चरण नमोस्तुते साई प्रेम स्वरूपिणी जननी दीन दयाल हरि परम दयाला, 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 आधार बण हरि गोविंद गोपाला, आधार बण हरि गोविंद गोपाला, मधुर मनोहर कृष्ण गोपाला, मधुर मनोहर कृष्ण गोपाला, राधा रमण हरि गोविंद गोपाला, राधा रमण हरि गोविंद मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर वाला, मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर वाला, वृंदावन घन मदन गोपाला, वृंदावन घन मदन गोपाला, दीन दयाल हरि परम दयाला, दीन दयाल हरि परम दयाला, राधा रमण हरि गोविंद गोपाला, मधुर मनोहर कृष्ण गोपाला, राधा रमण हरि गोविंद गोपाला, मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर वाला, वृंदावन घन मदन गोपाला, वृंदावन घन मदन गोपाला, दीन दयाल हरि परम दयाला। श्रीनिवास वेंकटेश, श्रीनिवास वेंकटेश, श्रीनिवास वेंकटेश, श्रीनिवास वेंकटेश, श्रित जन परिपाला साईशा, श्रित जन परिपाला साईशा, श्रित जन परिपाला साईशा, श्रित जन परिपाला साईशा, श्रीनिवास वेंकटेश, श्रीनिवास Srinivasa Govinda,
Govinda Govinda Srinivasa Govinda,
Govinda Govinda Patinivasa Govinda,
Govinda Govinda Patinivasa Govinda,
Govinda Govinda Patinivasa Govinda,
Govinda Govinda Patinivasa Govinda,
Srinivasa Venkatesha,
Srinivasa Venkatesha,
Shrita Jana Paripala Saisha, Srinivasa Venkatesha,
Srinivasa Venkatesha,
Tirumala Girivasa Govinda,
Tirumala Girivasa Govinda,
Garuda Vahana Govinda, Govinda,
Garuda Govinda Govinda,
Govinda Govinda Srinivasa Govinda,
Govinda Govinda Srinivasa Govinda,
Govinda Govinda Srinivasa Govinda,
Govinda Govinda Srinivasa Govinda,
Govinda Govinda Patinivasa Govinda,
Govinda Patinivasa Govinda,
Govinda Govinda Patinivasa Govinda,
Govinda Govinda Patinivasa Govinda,
Srinivasa Venkatesha.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Invoking the blessings of the Divine Mother and offering our collective salutations at the lotus feet of our most beloved Sadguru. Respected elders, esteemed guests, students from different campuses, and all my dear brothers and sisters, a very hearty Sai Ram. On the auspicious second day of the Navaratri celebrations, we worship the Mother Goddess as Devi Brahmacharini. She represents the unmarried form of the goddess and is depicted carrying a japamala in her right hand, a kamandalu in her left, walking barefooted and engaged in intense spiritual sadhana to attain Lord Shiva. She symbolizes the single-pointed focus that one must develop in order to attain God. Let us all pray to her that we too are blessed with that devotion and commitment on our personal spiritual journeys. We will commence the evening session with a Vedic invocation by the students of the Veda Patashala. They will be chanting the Pavamana Suktam.
श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। एष देवो अमर्त्यः पर्णवीरीवदीयते अभिद्रोणान्यासदम्। एष देवो विपाकृतो तिह्वरां चिधावति पवामानो अदाभ्यः। एष देवो विपन्युभिः पवामानरुतायुभिः। हरिर्वाजाय मृज्यते। एष विश्वानिवार्याशूरो यन्येव सत्त्वाभिः पवामानस्य शासति। एष देवो राथर्यति पवामानो दशस्यति। आविष्कृणोति वग्वणम्। एष विप्रैरभिष्टुतोपो देवो विगाहते। दधद्रत्नानि दाशुषे। एष दिवं विधावति तिरोरुदांसि धाराय पवमानः कनिक्रदत् एष दिवं व्यासारत्तिरोरजांसि स्पृतः पवमानस्वध्वरः एष प्रत्नेन जन्माना देवो देवेभ्यः सुतः हरिः पवित्रे अर्षति एष उस्य पूर्वव्रतो जज्ञानो जनयन्निशाः धाराया पवते सुतः हरिः ॐ
The morning's proceedings began with the priests performing the Pavamana Homa and the Ashlesha Bali Puja. An elaborate Sarpamandala was also drawn with 86 lamps, symbolizing the 8 Naga families along with various other deities. As a part of the Ashlesha Bali rituals, Brahmachari Puja was also performed for the Vatus and the Acharyas from the Veda Gurukulam. After the Purnahuti was offered, one of the priests, while speaking about the significance of the homas, mentioned that Pavamana is that which purifies and explained the benefits of performing the Pavamana Homa. He then described that the performance of the Ashlesha Bali Puja would grant freedom from Sarpadosha, poverty and illness, and would help to attain prosperity. In his discourse, Sadhguru highlighted the role of Brahmacharya Ashrama among the 4 ashramas as the strong foundation of our lives. He further emphasized that the practice of Brahmacharya is not confined to celibacy, but is to be devoted to the pursuit of Brahman irrespective of the circumstances. Hence, it must be practiced throughout one's life as it helps to cultivate faith and devotion. He urged us all to be conscious of the immense fortune that has been bestowed upon all of us and to take part in all of these festivities. He advised us to make the best use of this opportunity to grow spiritually. Following this, at the Durga Pandal, prayers were offered to Goddess Shashti under a bale or a wood apple tree. Along with other rituals, Pushpanjali and Aarti were also offered to the goddess. Now, we request our revered Chancellor, Sri B.N. Narasimhamurthy Sir, to address all of us.
With loving pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, brothers and sisters, very dear students, boys and girls. Antarmukha Samaradhya, Bahirmukha Sudurlabha. Swami, while speaking day before yesterday evening, he quoted these 2 names of Mother Lalita out of the 1000 names, Sri Lalita Sahasranamam. And it is very, very auspicious and beneficial, both materially and spiritually, to chant the Lalita Sahasranamam every day during the Navaratri. There are people who chant it every day at least once. But at least during Navaratri, if we can chant the 1000 names of Mother Lalita, it will be very, very beneficial. And there are 183 shlokas in the Lalita Sahasranama, which include the 1000 names of the Mother. And these 2 particular names that Swami mentioned, Swami is urging us again and again, especially the little students in our own campus and those who have come from outside, from them right on to the elders like us, he is urging, make the best use of the celebrations over the 9 days. It is not given to everybody to spend time in such holy celebrations in the presence of a Brahmavida who knows God. See, celebrations happen everywhere, but celebrations in the presence of one who knows God, one who has become God, one who has experienced his oneness with the divinity is something very, very a blessed opportunity, and all of us have got it. And Antarmukha Samaradhya Bahirmukha Sudurlabha, Swami also explained. So she is everywhere. Mother is everywhere. When I say this, I remember a little boy, how he described his mother. It seems he was just 3-year-old, and he was admitted into LKG and kindergarten school. And first time it seems he was taught counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he was so very excited. And he had one experience with his mother every day, and he had reason to believe that his conclusion was true. One day at the school, he told all his classmates, little boys and girls, see, I know counting. My mother does not know counting. When I ask for 1 idli, she gives 3. When I ask for 1 dosa, she gives 2. She doesn't know the difference between 1, 2, and 3. See, factually he was correct. But what he did not understand was what really mother stands for. That's, I think, it's a very beautiful definition of mother. This every mother has done to every child. You ask for 1 roti, she will give you 2 rotis. Not because she does not know how to count, but because she doesn't know how to control her love for her child. And that is the symbol of motherly love. Yadevi sarva bhuteshu matru rupena samstita. In every heart she is seated as the mother. Yadevi sarva bhuteshu daya rupena samstita. She is seated in every heart as daya, compassion. And mother is everywhere, in every atom of the universe. But where do we find her? Antarmukha Samaradhya Bahirmukha Sudurlabha. The purpose of all the activities which generally look, say morning till evening, we participate in the Homa. And then the Durga Puja with that very rhythmic dole. And the dance of the priest, very, very enchanting. We are looking outside all the time. And then we have the evening Swami's discourse, we are looking outside, we are listening to him. And then we have very beautiful cultural programs every day. The purpose of all these activities is to make us look inside, not look outside. Because though mother is everywhere, you can't realize her, you can't experience her outside. You have to experience her inside only. Antarmukha Samaradhya, when you look inwards with a pure heart, with a yearning heart, with an aspiring heart, she is there all the time for you to manifest herself, and you will be able to experience her. But looking outside, you will not be able to find her. That is what it means. The same thing is said by a great saint, a Sharana of the 12th century, Allama Prabhu. Just quote that and translate it for you in English, and then conclude before I pray to Sadhguru for his benevolent benedictory address on the second day of auspicious Navaratri. He very crisply says that. He says, Sutti Sutti Bandodilla, Laksha Gangaya Mindodilla, Tutta Tudiya Merugiriya Metti Kugidar Illa Illa, Nitya Nema Madi Tanuva Mutti Kondadilla, Attalitta Hariu Manava, Chittadolu Nilisaballade, Bacha Beria Belugu, Guheshwaranemba, Lingavu. This is what he said. Generally in search of God, especially we have many people who have come away from their hearth and homes and settled in the ashram. And in every ashram we have such aspirants. And here what it says is, Sutti Sutti Bandodilla. See, generally there is a tendency of the human mind to go outward. Therefore, going to this pilgrimage center, that pilgrimage center, this ashram, that ashram, this temple, that temple, is not going to benefit you. This is what the first line says. Simply going around here and there. In the spiritual quest only, you visit temples, Kedarnath, Badri, or you come down to the south, you go to Madurai, you go to Kanyakumari. But all this will not really be beneficial from the point of view of you are realizing the divinity within yourself. Sutti Sutti Bandodilla, Laksha Gangaya Mindodilla. A lakh times you go and take bath in the river Ganga, it is not of any use for you. Or you go around all the Sapta Sindhu, the 7 very sacred rivers of India, and take bath, it is not going to benefit you. Tutta Tudiya, Merugiriya, Metti Kugedar illa illa. Thinking that God is high above, you go to the highest mountain, on top of it you shout for God. It is not going to help you. That is what he says. Nitya Nema Madi Tanuva Mutti Kondadilla. Every day you practice many kind of external rituals, external sadhanas. It is not going to benefit you. All that has to happen is Atta Litta Hariva Manava Chittadolu Nilisa Ballode Bacha Bariya Bedagu Guheshwaranemba Nambalingav. All that you need to do is, the mind is moving hither, thither, everywhere, all the time. You are sitting in the presence of the divine, and Homa is happening, but your mind is roaming all over. All the time, this is what the mind is doing. All that you need to do is, if you can focus your mind inward and make it focused on the chitta, consciousness, then divine reveals itself to you. That's what it says. And that's the one and the only difference between a master and ordinary people or aspirants like us. See, what happens, our consciousness is rooted in our mind. Mind which is limited by the body, limited by the individuality. Whereas a master's consciousness, master's mind is always rooted in the consciousness. It's always rooted in our consciousness is in the mind, and his mind in the consciousness. And once mind reaches the consciousness, it merges there. That is the highest experience, and that is what we need to pursue. That is what we need to pray to the Mother. Mother, grant us this wisdom, which gives us relief, which releases us from the cycle of birth and death. Janma Mrutyu Jara Tapta Jana Vishranti Dhayini is one very long name of Lalita. Janma Mrutyu Jara Tapta Jana Vishranti Dhayini. Those who are tired of this cycle of birth, death and old age. Janma, Mrutyu, Jara. Janma, birth, Mrutyu, death, Jara, old age. Those who are tired of this, because many times we have come into this world, this is not the first time, thousands of times. And those who are tired of this, and if they pray to Mother, she will grant them Vishranti, she will grant them rest in her bosom. That is the kindness and compassion of the Mother, especially during the Navaratri celebrations. She is all the time available to us, both outside and inside, but we can experience her only inside. With these words, I conclude and pray to Swami for his divine discourse. Thank you very much. Sai Ram to you.
In Kathopanishad, Yamadharmaraja teaches the young aspirant Nachiketa about the truth of life. And he says, the way things are created is that man tends to only look outwards. It's the way it is created by design. And the whole effort is to turn this gaze inwards, which is what he was saying, Antarmukha Samaradhya, Vahimukha Sudurlabhaha. Very difficult to find that divinity outside if you are outward oriented, but very easy to find it within. It says, Paranchikani Vitrinat Swayambhu Tasmat Paran Pashyati Nantaratma. Kaschid Dhira Pratyagatmanamaikshad Avatta Chakshu Amrutatvamichan. It says Paranchikani. These Khani means apertures or holes. All holes or apertures in the body are made in such a way that they only look outwards. It means the eyes look outwards, the ears hear things of the outside, nose smells of things of the outside, likewise mouth wants to taste things from the outside. So the body has been created by the divine, by design in such a way that everything wants to experience everything that is outside. Who created Swayambhu? Lord himself created. The Creator himself created this by design it is. Tasmat paranna pashyati na antaratma. Therefore, all of us end up looking outside only and not antaratman, within oneself. We always are looking outside, seeking pleasure, seeking experiences of all things outside. But kaschid dhira pratyaga atmanamaikshad avritta chakshuhu amritatvamichan. Kaschid dhira. Kaschid dhira means some one in many people. What kind of person? Dhira. One such person, Dhira. Dhi means buddhi. The one with right kind of intellect, right intelligence, right discrimination. Also, it also talks about dhairya, courage and perseverance. Such a person who has the intelligence and also the courage to follow that intelligence puts efforts to turn this gaze inwards. Why he does so or why she does so? Because this dhira, this discriminating one, the courageous one, wants to find amrutatva, immortality. Because all things of the outside are all mortal only. It won't last forever. Anything you taste, smell, touch, feel, or experience with your senses, all of these will be either changing with time or ultimately will be destroyed. But the only thing that will stay with us forever and ever and ever would be the experience that is eternal, which is the experience of the self, because self is indestructible. So to experience that immortality of the self, he puts efforts to turn his senses inwards. It means not to engage his senses with the outward things. All these senses, which are the aspects of the body, they have behind them this thing called mind. Mind is the real reason why senses are running outside. And this mind is made up of all our thoughts, emotions, all our experiences, memories. Everything collected together is mind. This mind is the reason why we want to see things outside. So there is no point in just closing your eyes and thinking that we will see things within. The same thing will start seeing inside as well. Suppose you've been watching something nice outside. Let's say a nice pen or a nice watch. And you say, no, I should not be greedy about it. Let me close my eyes and turn my gaze inwards. Close your eyes and you see what? The same watch in your mind. So you have not gotten rid of that vision, that greed, or that desire. The only other option is the mind should see something else other than the watch. And what is that the mind should see? Seeing, when he says, our Narasimhaji says, seeing is not really physical seeing. When somebody says, would you come to my home? And we say, I will see. I will see does not mean that I will see your home or I will see you or I will see something. It is a way to say that I will ponder upon it, I will think about it, I will contemplate on it and decide. I will see, we say. So like that, the Dhira sees. What does he see? He doesn't see anything, he experiences. What does he experience? What is that immortality that he experiences within? What is this whole effort of turning our senses within? First is to disengage them from the external objects, because if you don't disengage, the mind will keep attaching itself to various things. Once you have eaten breakfast, the mind is ready to eat the lunch. Once it's finished the lunch, it is looking for eating snacks. After snacks are over, it's looking for dinner. So likewise, it moves from one thing to the other. That is the nature of the mind, because it's always wanting to experience things of the outside. Why today this is called doom scrolling? You heard about that doom scrolling? Those who have phones, they would know. They keep scrolling madly without thinking why are they scrolling. The screens keep running like that. And all the algorithms behind, created by extremely intelligent, more intelligent than the Dhiras. They have created these softwares and algorithms which keep you engaged. One shot goes away, next one comes up. One reel goes, next reel comes up. It goes on and on and on, and you keep doing that scrolling. People get this disease called Blackberry thumb. The thumb gets so very tired of scrolling that you don't even realize that it has gone so bad that it is no more capable of functioning. Then you have to put a plaster and things like that and give it rest. So people have gone into that because they all know, these marketing people all know. They have read Kathopanishad, they know Paranchi Kani Vetrana Swayambhu. They all know that things go outwards, we get very attracted. So give them some new trigger, some new idea, some new thing to attach themselves to, and keep giving them. Finish one thing, start another thing. Finish the second thing, start third thing. Because they know that our senses are created in such a way they always seek the outward experiences. So in this kind of circumstances, if you want to experience something greater, which is the immortal self, naturally immortality cannot be found in mortal ways. So you have to turn your gaze within. Means you have to pursue that path through which you can experience that calmness of divinity, that eternity of divinity within. How do you experience that within? The method is very simple. As we know now, the first senses have to be disengaged. You are eating, stop eating. Give rest to your tongue and calm down. Or your mind is thinking of the food continuously or whatever, stop the mind from thinking that, saying it's enough. Now let us not think about it anymore. Let us withdraw. And think about what then? Mind will ask you. If you don't engage the mind with something else, it will again go back to its old ways. That Bikram Betal story we heard, no? The moment Betal will ask questions, Bikram speaks, he is in trouble. If he doesn't speak also, he is in trouble. Betala goes and hangs himself again upside down on the tree. Likewise, this mind, if you tell him to do something also, it gets excited and troubles you. If you ask him to keep quiet also, it troubles you. So what is the way? Engage it in something which is more sacred, more purifying, more elevating. That's all is the method of controlling the mind. Many people tell me, Swami, help me control the mind. I tell, don't try to control the mind. It will not get controlled. You try to tame the mind, you try to control the mind, you try to force the mind in certain ways, it will not, it will rebel. But engage the mind in something greater than the previous thing. That's all is the way of the mind. So you have been engaged in something ordinary, try to engage the mind in something better and higher and more elevating, spiritual. So these activities that we have designed in terms of your daily routine or the prayers and rituals and traditions, these are the times when mind is disengaged from thinking about its breakfast and what's coming next and made to think about something higher, or Lalita Sahasranamam or Pavamana Suktam or some kind of a discourse or some kind of a mantra chanting. Your mind will start thinking about it. What does this mean? What is the ritual? What is it all about? It is disengaging from something lower and trying to engage with something higher. Knowing that our ancestors very cleverly design all these kinds of rituals and mantras and chanting and singing and performing some activities so that our senses get engaged with something higher, because still we are incapable of totally withdrawing the senses and looking whatever say within, experiencing the within. So they say, okay, stay without for some more time, but in a better way. Make your mind get habituated to dealing with better things. Change its habit. Change its habit of running behind ordinary to running behind extraordinary things, greater things. Behind world to behind God. Behind ordinary pursuits of the sensory pleasures to higher pursuits of elevating thoughts and emotions. And bhakti is a very elevating emotion. That bhakti is nothing but just love. It's an ordinary love which we have for anything or everything. That love, when is directed towards God, it becomes bhakti, the greater bhakti, supreme bhakti, para bhakti. So all these things have been designed to help our mind disengage with the ordinary senses and sense objects and try to engage them engage the mind with the greater idea of divinity. So mantras are there, you chant a mantra, then you meditate on the thought. Just now I told one name. Janma Mrityu Jara Tapta Janma Vishranta Dayini. She gives you rest. To whom? To those who are tired of what? Janma Mrityu, being born and dying again, born or dying again, being born, being dying. This cycle that people are tired of. To such people who have now expressed the desire to overcome the cycles of births and deaths, and they're tired, they want to take refuge. She gives shelter and refuge to them. Like children are there. Just now I gave the example of the mother. They go out playing in the open. They play and play. Mother keeps calling, come up, come back. It's time now. You have to come back home. It's getting dark. You have played enough. Child doesn't listen. Finally, when the child is totally tired, hungry, it turns toward the mother. The same mother who has been calling the child for such a long time and never being paid attention to, the same mother need not call. She just needs to sit at home. The child will come running. Why? It's hungry, it's tired, it needs the mother. Likewise, when we are tired of these birth and death cycles, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam. Again and again born in different wombs to different mothers, different fathers, different families, doing different things. At the end, we are fed up. Some point in time, we reach that stage, not easily. Some point in time, like this child reaches that stage when he is played enough. So such tired souls finally come to the mother and say, oh mother, give me some rest on your lap, enough is enough. They turn within. This is what is turning within. Instead of playing outside in the open, you come back home to the mother. Why? For rest and refuge. This idea is turning within. But it doesn't come just like that. You have to train the mind. A good disciplined child will come home on time, isn't it? Mother's told 6 o'clock, everybody back home, they will come back home. Not a very disciplined child will go on playing into the dark. And only comes back when he's tired or hurt or hungry. So most of the people come to God only and they're tired, hurt or hungry at the end of several cycles of lives and deaths. But if we can do this little early, we develop a little discipline to come back home a little early to our mother, we will have a happier life. Mother is happy, we are happy, no hurt, no playing in the dark and hurting oneself, falling and breaking a bone or two. Nothing of that nature, no accidents. Happily we can come home, go back next day if we need to play again. Everybody is happy. So these rituals time and again have been placed in our calendar of the year to ensure that we keep coming back home to the mother. We keep turning within because we are always playing outside. Sometimes we should play inside also, come back home. So this idea of rituals, festivals, again and again throughout the year is created by our ancestors in a very clever way in order to help us keep turning within. Of course, we have to turn without also to do various activities of the world. But every now and then you have to turn within. We shouldn't lose the habit of turning within. We should keep practicing that every day. So that when the last hours come, final time will come for all of us, sooner or later. When that time comes, you shouldn't struggle to turn within, because you haven't practiced it. So that practice has to go on and on and on. You can imagine, somebody told me that Usain Bolt is there, let's say. I don't know who broke his record. Somebody has broken his record now? Or still holds the record? Whoever it is. But he has practiced for years, for hours, to run that 100 meters dash. Had he not practiced for that many years and days and nights and with such discipline and such austerities, you think he could have created a world record? No. Just for that 9 seconds or whatever the race he has to run, he has practiced for 9 years or who knows how much time. Likewise, throughout the life, we have to practice this turning within, because one day we have to run that 100-meter dash and reach God. And it won't happen just like that. You won't have the strength, nor stamina, nor strategy. You will simply fall on your face. Most of the people extend their spiritual sadhana to some end, thinking once I retire, I'm done with all the things, then I will start thinking of God and things. But they're too late in the life to achieve anything. And then they suffer and struggle, and whatever they have done, hodgepodge, it doesn't lead to any good to anybody, including them. And then what happens? Time is over. You leave the body when you're born again, and that amnesia of not able to remember what happened in the past puts you back onto the same wrong track. And again you go one more cycle. So these festivals, mantras, prayers, traditions have been designed to remind us that don't run outside too long. You have to turn within and practice that often. You can do it on certain days, every day, Every hour depends on your intensity of spiritual pursuit. But once in a while, when it is a public thing, when it's a mandatory thing that the whole village or the community, the families must come together, it helps everybody turn within. It makes it easy when you practice it in a group. So that is the idea of creating these festivals and rituals. And when we celebrate this Navaratri, we are just trying to develop better habits for our minds. We want to help the mind learn better habits, good habits of turning within. It means sometimes disengaging from the senses and constantly the doom scrolling business. Now, physically we doom scroll on the phones, mentally we doom scroll all the time. Our thoughts, one thought to another, one thought to another, it keeps jumping. That also we need to stop. This habit, to develop that, you need some austerities once in a while. Once in a while they have to snatch away the phone, internet should be shut down, and then the child needs to made to do other things like homework and assignments. Otherwise the child will lose the habit of doing homeworks and assignments. So likewise, we also lose the habit of thinking of God and remembering God and turning within and trying to experience that peace and equanimity. By continuously engaging outside, we spend all our energy and time, and finally when there is no time left, we want to suddenly achieve everything in no time. Many people say, Swami, somebody started, I'm waking up at 3 o'clock nowadays, inspired by your discourses. 3:40 Premamrutham, I'm ready with what? To meditate. From 3:40 to 4:40, I meditate. From there, I choose some prayers, this, that, everything. But I haven't experienced Brahman till now. I said, how long have you been doing that? Yeah, I started yesterday. I thought you took 15 years to become a graduate. Another 2 more years, whatever, postgraduate. PhD, you took another, I don't know how many years. That depends. And then finally, you are now whatever in certain stage in life. But Brahma Jnana, you want to get it in within one day of waking up at 3:40 and doing some ulta siddha rituals and waking up. I have to attain. No patience with Brahma Jnana. So easy, you think. It is the most cherished, highest achievement that one can have as humans. And you expect that to happen just like that. That is also not true. So you have to practice this, and it's a very, very persistent, consistent effort. Then only we realize this, otherwise we won't realize it just one fine day. Many people have also taken this for granted that somehow they have ended up in this ashram and they have somehow reached a guru. So do what you want, finally the guru will compassionately bless you and say that, okay, I'll give you Brahma Jnana, you will be redeemed, no more birth and death for you and all that. They expect like that. And when I'm passing by darshan, they pull my hand and put it on their head thinking that that's how they get blessed. It doesn't work like this. Let me tell you very frankly. You don't fool yourselves into thinking that somehow this will help you. No, your personal efforts to practice whatever has been said is what will redeem you. Uddharet atmanatmanam, it says. Self, with the self, you have to raise yourself. It means your efforts are required. So when you don't put effort, these rituals are created. Sometimes festivals are created to put efforts. And I make it mandatory. You have to put efforts. Everybody has to go through what you have to go through, because these exercises are very important in engaging your mind with higher things. That will help finally mind to completely engage with divine, forgetting or whatever, redeeming itself of all lower ideas and petty desires. It will only think of God and greater things. Such a day will come, but only after constant engagement. And what happens initially, some of you children especially will feel, oh, it's not so interesting, now 9 days, Navaratri, it could have been just one day, half a day, we think sometime. IPL season is there, full season, you will watch every single match, morning, night. Nobody is tired of watching those IPL matches. But Navaratri comes 9 days. 9 days, what will you do? Same thing, morning, evening, same thing. IPL is not the same thing, same bowling, same batting, same catching and dropping. And then again next year, and not even next year, under 6 months, one more series and one more series. Nobody is tired of it. Why? Mind is engaged with Paranchikani, Yatra Swayambhu, Tasmat Paran Pashyati, Na Antaratman, because the habit of the mind. Then if you want to change this habit, it takes effort. 9 days are also very less. 90 days it should be actually, according to me. But fine, 9 days are okay to begin with. How will you develop good habits? 9 days you will develop good habits? Not possible. It requires consistent lifelong effort. Okay, still 9 days, our ancestors were very kind, they said they have other things to do, let us start with 9 days. So we have started with 9 days. But the idea is to just train our minds to turn within, in the sense disengage from the ordinary and try to engage with these extraordinary divine things. When we think of the mother or other gods, whoever we are thinking of, We are all thinking of that higher idea, and that for at least that moment, the mind is disengaged from all the worldly things and is developing a habit of engaging with the higher things. So this is the idea, and that is why we do what we do. I just wanted to explain it to the students and others who must know why we do what we do. And I just now you said brahmacharinis are having, brahmacharinis depicted as having a japamala in one hand and kamandalu. Kamandalu because these brahmacharis don't have a home and a hearth. Means wherever they need to go, they go. So they always carry their water with them. So I was going around the hall and I saw these children are wearing small bands like this. They're all, I think, Namajapa clocks or some kind of a counting machine. And then these water bottles that keep rolling up and down in the hall every now and then. Kamandalu and Japamala, the digitized version. I don't know how much japa they're really doing seriously. But it is important. Somewhere you have to begin. Last moment, nothing will happen. Like exams. 1 week before exam, start studying, you will achieve nothing. And there's no cheating also here. Because God is there. You can't cheat and get moksha. That's not going to happen. So be consistent, be persistent in your efforts. And even if you don't have interest or you don't develop that kind of deep desire to attain God now, it's okay. We know that that is not easy to come by. But constantly spending time with good people, learning good things, slowly your habits of the mind will change. Like the mother that feeds the baby on milk, breast milk when the baby is born. Slowly she moves the baby away from the breast milk to feeding the other things because it needs all kinds of other nutrition as well. It can't just live on breast milk all its life. So mother knows. So same mother who so lovingly feeds the milk, same mother distances the baby, does not allow it to feed on the milk and feeds it the other items because the baby needs everything. Likewise, Lalita, the mother, what does she do? She only gives us all the worldly achievements. If we ask for it, that also she is this. Dhana dhanya vivardhani. She'll give you dhana, everything if you ask for. But at the same time, she also is a Vishranti Dayani. Finally, when we are tired of playing in this world and we want her lap to rest, she also takes us so close to herself by changing our habits and ultimately gives us refuge. So this idea is considered as a motherly idea, very feminine, motherly idea because this is the nature of a mother. So fathers also can be like that. Like that Shiva you worship, same ideas are also superimposed on the idea of Shiva. That he is a father who gives you refuge when you are tired or when you need him. So the idea is the same, but there are Shaktiyas worshipping mother as the supreme, and there are Shivaites worshipping Shiva as the supreme or Vishnuites. So there are various branches of these worships are there. Nobody is superior or inferior to each other. As we said, there is only one consciousness that permeates everything. Therefore, we are all equal in that consciousness. So these are ways of worshipping, but Navaratri is a special occasion in Indian culture and traditions. It has been designed this way. So therefore, we celebrate. But the effort is to turn our attention within from seeking the attention or spending time on things of the outside. We must try to spend time on the things of the inside. The earlier we practice this, the better it is because towards the end, you can't just run a 100-meter dash without having practiced hours and hours. Likewise, you can't just attain that ultimate immortality without having practiced it all your life, failing which you'll be born again in another womb and you have to restart the whole process. It's like failing at the end of the year, you have to start the year again. You can't say, but I knew most of the subject, can I just, no, you have to start again full year you have to study and next year you can write the exam. So all other efforts get unnecessarily wasted. Therefore, put efforts is the whole idea. Is there one questions are there, Isa?
Swami, in the Hindu calendar, we come across different types of Navaratris like Sharad Navaratri and Vasanta Navaratri. Is there any special significance to Sharad Navaratri?
I said 9 days are minimum to at least get ourselves attuned to an idea of God or greater things. And whenever we find time in our calendar, because we were agrarian economies, you see, so we were busy with agriculture, so we were very dependent on the seasons. So if seasons are, agricultural season, we will definitely be busy. We won't have time for that. So 2 months like Chaitra, and Chaitra is the Chaitra Navaratri, which comes somewhere in April. That is first month of the year according to Hindu calendar, because that's time, spring time, and you have just finished growing your crops. Now you're going for harvesting. So this is a time you're anticipating prosperity, anticipating a lot of good things to happen. So you pray and you spend those times before that. So that Chaitra Navaratri, and then Sharad Navaratri again, the autumn season. Again, one more harvest is getting ready. You have finished sowing, crops are growing now. If there is rain, you cannot go anywhere. So you are mostly home. And that point of time also you celebrate this. What is special significance? I really do not know whether it is specially designed like this, but mostly I have seen that Sharad Navaratri comes in the Chaturmasya, which is a consistent 4 months of spiritual effort, starting from Ashadi, and then all the way till Kartikeya. So you go on this Purnima to Purnima goes on, and these 4 months are called Chaturmasya in Hindu tradition, which is these 4 months where everybody practices certain austerities and auspicious things. Because largely what used to happen, it was the rainy season, and today's times are different. You have good transportation, roads and communication, electricity, but in those days it wasn't so. So during those times, people stayed home for these 4 months, more or less, and you didn't have any much of agricultural activities. You had already finished sowing, and you were waiting for the crop to grow. And we were mostly a rice economy, so based on that. And at the end of it, as we come closer to the end of these 4 months, Ashwina, and we come to this month of Navaratri, of Sharada Navaratri. And after that, anyway, we start getting engaged again with the worldly affairs. All the other activities restart. But these are the time when saints also used to come and stay at people's homes. Those who are parivrajakas, they keep moving around, you see. That is the rule. They cannot stay anywhere more than a night. At best, under some very hard circumstances, 3 nights is allowed for a sannyasi to stay at one place. Otherwise, he must keep moving. In such times, the only time sannyasis were permitted to stay longer was during this Chaturmasya, where they'll take shelter at the house of a grahastha, family people. And you see, in old times, in our villages, the houses had a little platform-like thing outside, where they used to have a shaded platform. And these were for those passers-by as well as for the sannyasis to stay. They won't enter the house, they will stay there. They'll be served according to their requirement. And the whole family, just like when a guest comes, we eat what guest likes. We don't eat ourselves and we feed guests separately, no. Whatever guest likes, we prepare that and we all share that as respect to the guest. Likewise, during the Chaturmasya, they will prepare food to the taste of the sannyasi, who would eat very sattvic food. No rajasic, tamasic foods. So the whole family also becomes very spiritual, sattvic, because they are entertaining a sannyasi at home. And what does the sannyasi do in return? He will teach them scriptures and clear their spiritual doubts and give them a lot of wisdom which they otherwise would not have opportunity for. So all these used to happen during Chaturmasya, and that's why Navaratri being celebrated here is more intense. Chaitra Navaratri also is there, is more popular in the north than south, probably because their seasons or crops or whatever the climate is like that, conducive for that. But in south, Sharada Navaratri is far more intensely celebrated. So I don't see very big difference. It's the same mothers, same festival, same rituals, but the circumstances in which Sharada Navaratri is celebrated is far more conducive for one's engagement in spiritual activities.
Swami, in a single day, you do so many different things. How do you manage to give your 100% to each of these activities?
You have the answer the question. 100% to each of these activities is what I give. How do you give means what else can you do? And when you're doing one thing, put all your mind, thoughts, emotions, all your sentiments into that one thing. Give it your best shot. Where is the scope for doing anything else at that point? This is what I'm saying. The concentration of mind is a practice. You give 100% to that activity or that person or that thought or that engagement. That is possible only if you have some control over your mind. You know how to put your thoughts together. So this spiritual practice helps you to completely be 100% here and now. What we call as live in the present. Not sit here but think of something else there, here. When you're doing this, you're only doing this. This is again a practice that comes with lot of training of the mind. The mind is not scattered in everything, everywhere. Whatever you decide, you fully give it, your everything to it. That is how you must do. And I feel if I don't do that, I am being dishonest to the job at hand. Now it is not fair. Suppose a doctor is performing a surgery in the operation theatre. No, the patient deserves all his attention at that point in time, all his abilities, all his skills, everything should be concentrated on that one activity of performing the surgery. Now if the doctor is distracted or not engaged, Nowadays I read in newspaper how doctors are killing patients. They are in inebriated state. Some are YouTube doctors, don't know how to do surgery. They watch videos and do surgery. All these I'm watching in the news. He's not here 100%. What is he doing? He's doing injustice to the patient. So when you have been given this honor of doing something, a privilege of contributing something to somebody's life or an activity, should you not be honest to yourself and to the person who is engaged with you? Should you not give your 100% totally to it? Because that is the only way you show honesty. Nowadays this is called another phenomenon called phobing or something it is called. Somebody is talking to you but you are scrolling on your phone. You don't pay attention to the person. It's not right. It's not fair. You must give, these are basic, even from courtesy point of view, that is how it should be. When you're doing something, you should do it 100%. Even from spirituality point of view, it is so. Giving your everything is important because you're being being honest, being right, being fair. And if you don't do that, you are not being fair. It is not good. Even as courtesy, it is not good. So we have practiced this over a period of time, and what happens when you do it with complete concentration and give it your 100%, you don't feel the burden actually. You don't feel the burden of having done so many things in a day. Because for that moment, that becomes your world. You're completely engaged, like a child you see, is playing with something, it's so involved. It's not able to think of anything else. Even if mother is shouting, hardly is able to hear, because it's so engaged. That kind of childlike concentration comes to people whose minds are very steady and very stable. They are able to do this. That's why I say, not enough ready, but steady, then only go. Or as another way is ability, nobility, and stability. And stability of mind comes from spiritual practices. So spiritual people are very much 100% there. And they give whatever they do, they give their 100% to that through the constant practice of engaging the mind totally into any one thing at one point in time. Same ability of the mind, you shift it to engage in thinking of God, you will experience God also with the same power of the mind. You take it to any other ordinary activities, playing a sport, you will give your 100% there too. So that is the idea we must, and especially in spirituality says Shurasya Dhara Nishita Duratyaya. It's like walking on a razor's edge, not ordinary, sharpened razor's edge. How careful you will be that if you get distracted, you will cut yourself. So you are very, very careful. So these practices of constantly engaging the mind with greater ideas purifies the mind, stabilizes the mind, develops concentration, and allows you to give 100% of yourselves to that activity. And when you live like this, not only you enjoy that activity, it doesn't feel ordinary, but also you don't feel the burden of doing it. Because you're so engaged, you don't feel the burden of it. Many times I was in the UK, almost everybody was fainted, with the kind of interviews continuously we were giving. And the host came and said, you must rest now because you've been talking and talking and talking. I said, but I don't feel tired. No, you must feel tired, they say. But I said, I don't feel tired. You can't make me feel tiredness. Because I'm so 100% in it, all my energy is there. You are giving your very best. This is also a spiritual gift which you will get when you practice some training of the mind.
Dear Swami, while it is easier to practice physical celibacy, how can we practice celibacy mentally?
There is nothing called physical celibacy. All celibacy is mental only. Physical celibacy is the output of mental celibacy only. So you think like that, your mind has to be purified. What is body? Body is a vessel or instrument. It's like a car. You're saying how to practice. I know physical driving is very easy, mental driving is very difficult. No, you're driving mentally only. Physically, you're applying all the concepts of the mind. So it's only, actually all ideas are mental only. Physical body is nothing. Suppose you are in deep sleep, when your mind is shut off. Where is the question of you practicing celibacy, not practicing celibacy? Is your body capable of doing anything at that point in time? No, because mind is inactive. Everything goes back to mind only. So purified mind is the only option of engaging the body in the right way. A mind which is engaged in higher things, greater things, where is the time or where is the interest of the mind in anything lower? So that becomes very easy. Why Brahmacharya Ashram, what I was saying is, see, when you are constantly engaged in the thought of God, you are learning new things, you are excited every day to wake up and learn new things which will make you a better person. Where is the time to look into smaller things in life? No way. It doesn't happen. Like examinations are there. At that point in time, somebody tries to, you have morning, you have exam, and today you are very tense and you are studying and studying. At that point in time, somebody tries to distract you. You are not going to get distracted. You will say, no, I have a goal. I have work to do, I cannot do this. Please allow me to study. Because your mind is engaged in something higher, therefore it doesn't have time for lower things. Likewise, all celibacy or any idea for that matter in life, greed or being charitable or being angry or being calm, everything is mental. Physical body is nothing. Because once you shut off the mind, body is incapable of doing anything. It is just a piece of flesh and bones. Doesn't do anything on its own. So mind is the reason. So mental celibacy, how do you practice? Purifying the mind, engaging it in higher thoughts. And as I said, once I told this story to some children. One person had this habit of snuffing, these people are there, a lot of people use this kind of a substance. They put it in the nose and keep snuff, this is called a snuff, they keep sniffing on that and then they experience some kind of a high. It's basically some kind of a substance. But this man was very, very, very addicted to it and could not get rid of it. So he went to the teacher in his village. The teachers are generally the advisors in the village. He said, what do I do? How do I do? He was a teacher himself. So he said, do one thing. You only use as much snub as is the piece of chalk that you're using in the morning. And as it keeps, getting eroded because you're using it on the blackboard, the size of the chalk piece will come down. So your amount of snub that you take also should come down accordingly. Practice like this. So he gave him a piece of chalk and then he started writing, and as the day passed, the chalk became smaller and smaller, and he made sure that he was following this. Idea is that in one go you cannot become spiritual. You have to slowly, Shanaiha Uparamed, says Bhagavad Gita. Slowly and slowly you withdraw. Sudden withdrawal, wake up in the morning, today I will achieve everything. Doesn't work like that. Give yourself time, but be consistent. If you are not consistent, it's going back to zero again and again. So consistency and engaging your mind in higher thoughts, higher activities is the only way to keep the mind under some control, and that is how this thing you can apply to anything, including celibacy. But the greater idea is engage the mind in higher things, and don't expect you to become celibate overnight. It's not possible. Don't have unrealistic expectations, then you will get frustrated and you will give up the pursuit only, saying it's not my cup of tea. No, over a period, gradually. And as I said, Sri Krishna says, whatever that karma which is under dharma is me. I am the karma which is on the basis of dharma only. So to that extent, even people who are so-called not bachelors are also celibates because their karma is controlled by their dharma. And that is why they are also celibate according to me. Why? Because they have used dharma as the reason. When you want to have a progeny, you need to you have to engage with the opposite person. But you are doing it for a greater cause of dharma. Dharma of a grihastha is to bring forth progeny and provide the next generation to the society. So that is also celibacy only in a way, as long as it is done with dharma. That is the idea.
How do we know if we have been accepted as a disciple of Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai?
If you are getting scoldings regularly, you would know that you are my disciples. If you are not getting any scoldings from me, then you know I have not accepted you still. Our Narsimurti is very happy, he gets regular scoldings. Idea is that the Guru is interested in improving you, right? He chips away all the unwanted in you. He strikes you with the hammer of whatever discipline, or chastises you with a chisel of self-control. And when you don't submit to that, he obviously is not happy. So naturally he'll hammer harder in order to take away that piece which is not necessary in the idol. So how does the idol know that I have become whatever the piece of stone that is going to be carved into an idol? When it starts feeling all the hammer strikes, it knows that now I have become accepted. I have been accepted by the sculptor to be sculpted into a greater idea of a god or something like that. And so once you start getting all those hammerings, mental, physical, emotional, you should start knowing that you are slowly becoming my disciples. And one day when you have had enough and you have turned into the divine, all the hammering and chiseling will stop. Then you have become me. That's how you should know at the end of it.
Swami, you've explained to us that Shakti represents energy, but it is also said that Shiva is energy while Shakti is matter. Could you please guide us on this?
No, Shiva is consciousness. Consciousness is not matter energy. See, what we think of Shiva, when you think of the ultimate supreme truth as Shiva, it is representing the idea of consciousness. Now, consciousness is the substratum on which energy, matter, everything plays. So think of it like this. Earlier, there is only this consciousness. It has no particular name, form, energy, vibration, nothing. It is a neutral like electricity. Then energy part of it comes. When electricity starts flowing, what is electricity? Flow of electrons, right? Electrons are always there. Suppose there is no voltage difference, there are no flow of electrons, so there is no electricity. The moment you complete the circuit, there is a potential difference, voltages come and then the electrons start flowing. And this flow of electrons is called electricity. So in its purest state, if I can say so, it is just electrons, no particular quality, no particular energy, no particular character or gunas. It is simply, but the moment you change the potential difference between the two ends, immediately it starts flowing. The moment it flows, it's called electricity. So think of it as Shakti. And that Shakti, electricity, when it engages with something, transforms it into a particular output. Like it engages with the microphone, it makes it sound. So sound that is produced, think of it as the Prakriti or the matter. So the purest state of existence, consciousness is Shiva, and Shakti has both the forms. That is the Parvati or whatever the feminine aspect is, the Shakti. Also is called Prakriti because it is capable of transforming itself into matter, because energy is capable of transforming it into matter. But this consciousness is there in energy also, in matter also, without being changed. That is the idea. So consciousness or Chaitanyam is Shiva. Shakti is both the energy and the matter. Both together is Shakti.
Swami, sometimes children protest when asked to apply Vibhuti. Could you please explain the significance of applying Vibhuti on the forehead?
The Vibhuti, on a very physical level, it's the end of everything. You burn everything down, what you will get at the end of it is ash. So Vibhuti is one way of reminding ourselves that all that we see around, which we get so excited about, it's all going to end up in this particular thing called ash, including this body that we love so much and adore, because of which we don't want to put Vibhuti, because we don't want to look not so nice. That also is going to become Vibhuti. Now, only one dot, whole body will be Vibhuti at some point in time. So this Vibhuti is a reminder on constant basis that we as body, when we are, it is not forever. It is going to go away. So don't put too much of your attention and energy in feeding and clothing and fulfilling the demands of the body and the senses. Think of the higher truth. But the higher truth is that while body is going to get, at the end turn into Vibhuti or ash, the soul or the eternal spirit will always remain, and we must focus on that. Secondly, we put Vibhuti, people put Vibhuti everywhere because this is a constant thing. Shiva puts Vibhuti all over his body. Yesterday in the dance drama we saw that Parvati gives up all her ornaments and all her beauty, whatever things, and smears her body with Vibhuti to remind herself that who Shiva is, whom she should meditate upon, not on this beauty of the body. That's not going to win Shiva's love. It's only this realization that I am also same as Shiva in the spirit, that Shiva would be compassionate and kind and he will accept me. So she also smeared herself Vibhuti. So also these sages and saints and sannyasis smear themselves Vibhuti because they want to constantly remind themselves. For Shiva lives in Smashana amongst the burning dead because he wants to continue to remind us that this is the ultimate truth. Don't be too very attached to this body which is not going to last. So Vibhuti is one way of reminding us of that. And when you put Vibhuti, you remind yourself that I am engaged in spiritual pursuits and beyond my body, mind, senses, I have a greater idea that I am divine. The Vibhuti is a reminder. Second thing, we put Vibhuti in the middle of the brow because, see, this is called the Agnya Chakra. There is a separate system of chakras and energies within our body. The physical matter is there, or physical organs are there, but there is a subtle body that we also possess, which has certain energy points. And this is a very, very powerful energy point called Agnya Chakra, and it must remain protected. And one way of protecting it is, Vibhutis are all, generally it comes from a prayer or a ritual, all these Vibhuti. It's not something that you, it's ash, it's not ordinary ash that you just burn some wood and put it on your forehead. No, it comes from a ritual. And once you perform that ritual, you have offered it to God, this gets energized. Energized in a way that because the sounds with which it has been infused with the prayers that have gone in, that energizes this Vibhuti. So when you put it on your Agni Chakra, it protects it from receiving unwanted negative energies, because this is capable of receiving all kinds of energy. Sometimes we are very dull in the day. We don't know why we are angry today, why we are irritated, why we are depressed. There's nothing that gone wrong, because this Agni Chakra keeps absorbing energies from everywhere. So we don't want to disturb it. So we put Vibhuti on it to ensure that that energy of the mantras in the Vibhuti protects this Agni Chakra from any negative energies that come and affect us. So our mind will be very peaceful and stable because of that. That is why we put in the forehead. And you can put everywhere, as I said, to protect yourself, but at least put it on the forehead. Same thing, bindi or tilak. In North they'll put tilak, they don't use Vibhuti so much. Mostly Shaivites use Vibhuti, but Vaishnavites are there. They'll put Chandanam or they'll put some other thing. Likewise, women wear a bindi or a kumkum. All these were just our scientific ways of protecting that Agnya Chakra. And if you protect that, you will not have negative influences when you are in a society, moving around, doing things. You will not pick up wrong negative vibrations, which will not affect your mental peace, and also helps you to keep your mind focused and balanced, with which 100% you can give for every activity that you do. So these were our ways of doing it. So it's not about beautifying yourself or exhibiting your spiritual austerities. It is simply a ritual which has been designed to scientifically help your Agni Chakra not get affected by all kinds of negative energies that flow in your space. All right. So everybody should put Vibhuti now then. Then we remind ourselves. See, all our things are reminders only. Because we human beings are very forgetful, very ungrateful also. So every now and then we have to show our gratitude to God by reminding ourselves. Don't forget all gods have done for you, all that society does for you. Come and participate and give your respects, pay your respects and gratitude to the divine, because we as human race in the recent times we have become very, as I said, forgetful of the good that people do to us, and ungrateful for all the good that we have already received from others. Unfortunately, and we feel entitled and privileged somehow. That is the new disease we have acquired. We feel we deserve this. As humans, we deserve better life than animals. As humans, we deserve better resources than other poorer human beings. We have developed this sense of high-handedness and superiority, which is very dangerous. So again, these reminders tell us that be grateful for all that you have, and be respectful to the deities, to everybody in the society, and don't be forgetful about all the good that they have done to you, so that you also should do good for others. Okay.
We will now have of 10 minutes, after which we shall reconvene for the cultural program.